Kevin here from Harrington Classic Car Restorations. We're at the home garage today with our 65 El Camino, and there's our 65 Malibu. But this next video you're going to watch is a 70 Chevelle, and you're going to find out all the things that we find as we dig into a car. Even though he did get the car at a good price, and he put an LS in it, so it's a pretty good looking car. But the closer you got to it, you kind of find this, that, and the other thing. And this video here is going to actually show you the things that we've found and all the things that we're going to fix. So stay tuned, watch, like and subscribe, and enjoy the video. Here's the new job we have in the shop, 70 Chevelle. We're going to be replacing fenders, doors, quarters, trunk lid. We're going to get some 22s in there. So we're going to start stripping it down, and then when we get the parts, we'll start installing them. Doesn't look bad, but when you get up closer, you can see that fender's toast. The gap is off. He wants to get rid of this trim, so we're going to get rid of that trim. Some scratches in there. We're going to get rid of those in the front and the back. It's got some rust work to do. Make sure those gaps are better. Make sure the hood's lined up. And we're going to do flush mount glass on it. So stay tuned for this. Okay, we took the trim off, and it's a good thing we're getting rid of those because those are rusty. So we're going to get rid of those things and make it nice and smooth up there. Okay, this taillight wasn't even bolted in. I don't know how it even stayed in there for as long as it did. There's no bolt in here. No bolt in here. Kirk's taking that taillight off. And we'll see what we get as we go. As you can see, this quarter panel was screwed on and overlapped. So we'll see how that comes off. Looks when we take the bumper off. Seam where the quarter was put on, and it looks to me like it was just spot welded on and not welded fully. So we will be replacing those. Okay, as you can see, there's rust on the roof. There's a crack in the A-pillar there, crack in the A-pillar there, so we'll be fixing all that stuff. And we're cutting these off. And we got the rear bumper off, and the rear valance off, with the side lights out. Okay, there's how they put that quarter on that side. And the quarter on this side. There's a rust hole here. That bolt's probably rusted in there, which is why the bumper brackets, they were actually cut right here, and there was only this part of the bumper bracket left holding the bumper on, and there were no bolts in those holes either. So we need to get new bumper brackets and fix the rust in the floor there. So, and I'm pretty sure this one's going to go metallic gray. It's going to get flat black stripes with a red pinstripe. So stay tuned. See if we can get these in there. There's one bolt in there. There's no bolt in there. And you can somehow look in here. There's a screw in that one. And if you look at this light, this is how the light was as soon as we took this trim off, and as you can see in here, or hopefully, there's a screw holding the screw in. So I don't know how that was put in either. So we'll figure that out also. See, even this one has, man, it's hard to put this light where I need it. That one's holding, got a screw holding it in. Unless that's just for the, that's what that is, okay. It's just a mess. We'll get it done. Okay, the driver's side's done a little bit better. Everything's attached correctly. All these had the same correct bolts in it. This only had one screw. The grill came out easily. Just had the two screws there, there, and there. The headlights are labeled, both sides. Driver's side, high beam and low beam. Same with the passenger side. And now we just have to bag and label those parts. There's the grill with the grill screws. So we'll bag all that stuff, label it, and stick it with the parts that it comes with. Gotta make sure everything's organized so when you have to put it back together again, you're not questioning what goes where. And as you can see, this thing was just painted. No extra work was done to it. They just sanded the car down and painted it yellow. They didn't even paint this part. So there's the original color to this car. But man, that engine's sweet. Did a good job putting that in. So these are the types of things that make the job a little bit harder. If I can get this to focus on there, because I can't get a ratchet on there because that bolt is too long. Just trying to take the seat out, but it's little things like that that take a little extra time to get the job done. Okay, here's this seatbelt action. Car wasn't very safe. Okay, so the front end's basically apart, or at least the grill area is. And as you can see, the car wasn't done very well the first time. They just left the parts on and sanded the car and painted over everything. And we also noticed that this one's bent. So we'll either get a new one or straighten that one out, depending on what the customer wants. And depending on how far we're going to go with the radiator support, we'll either just scuff it down and paint it real quick, or take it apart, sandblast it. All depends on what the customer's looking for. Got most of the interior out, got the seats out, got the weather stripping out, the seat belts are out. We're gonna start taking that stuff there out, and we're gonna have to take the glass out front and back to get the headliner out. We got stuff to fix back here anyway, and we're gonna replace those quarters, so we gotta get that glass out. Issues that we have to fix when we take this quarter panel off. I mean, we have a nice gap here. Up here it's a little out here and in there, so maybe it's just a door and it's twisted, which is why the rocker's out like that. The gap to the rocker and the door is really tight. There's usually a 1/4 inch gap there, and this one's almost touching up in the front here. So we're gonna have to figure out that issue there. But Like I said before, we started stripping the roof to see if there was rust in it. We did find some rust in there, so we'll be fixing that. Got the back seats out. So the next step is to take that hood off, take the fenders off. We need to get the doors, quarters, trunk lid. Also, there's those parts there. That piece is new. That piece is original, and we need a new one of those because it's hammered. Also, I think I said in another video, these bumper brackets were cut off here, and it just had this top piece in there. And I think there's some rust in here. Let's turn that light on. So we got to fix a little bit of rust there, or a lot of rust. We'll patch that to get that bolt back in there and get some new bumper brackets for it. I think I showed you the quarters in there on how that was just overlapped and tack welded on. And here I'll show you. We did a little grinding on this quarter, and you can see that it was just tack welded on. That's it, all the way down. So it's a good thing we're replacing those, because who knows what's going to happen there at a later date. So it's a good start. Okay, so we took the hood off and the hood hinges off. Hood's sitting there along with the hood hinges. Took these bolts out. Took those two bolts out there so we can get the fender off. We're going to leave those in. Took those off. Still got to take those two out, and the one in the inside of the door. Took these bolts out. They're laying right there. I'm going to take these bolts out, and I don't need to, because that whole piece is rusted right off. So we'll take that bolt out, this bolt out, and the firewall bolt out, and take that fender off and see if we can fix that down there at some point. Okay, so here's the inner fender. As you can see, the bolt is rusted off, and that's rusted out completely. Okay, we had to get the leaves out of here, and that's how rotted this thing is, and this is all rotted here. So we're going to cut this here across and make a new panel for here, and then we're going to have to replace this piece and this piece. So we'll just make a piece, cut this up here, make a panel there, make a panel there, weld it in to make sure that's right. Okay, so we got that panel cut off, and Kirk's making a template right now for that front piece up here. Here, let me see that. So we're making a template for the front piece here, and we'll make a template for the side piece, and cut some sheet metal and start welding it in. Okay, here's the front bottom part of the fender. Bumper was hitting. Nice rust there. Filled over with body filler. This here was just ground down with body filler and just ground. Knows about that. Some cracks in the body filler. Nice crack in the body filler there. We'll make it right.